Problem in the world isn't caused by the president. When that train derailed in East Palestine, it wasn't because Trump deregulated the brakes. These aren't news stories. They're storylines pumped into your bubble. 4, always be aware that once the news became a profit division of media companies, they stopped being in the news business and are now in the audience stroking business. The goal is no longer to inform opinions, it's to reinforce them. 3, if your news outlet consistently reduces everything that happens in the world to who the president of America is, get rid of it. It's just thoughtless, reflexive team politics. Trust me, no one lighting a tire fire in Haiti is thinking, I wouldn't have done this under Trump, but given the weakness of the Biden administration, why not?
Bill Maher has criticized the mainstream media for exaggerating things too much. We are living in a time where news channels like CNN and MS Now are accused of making every issue bigger just to get more viewers. Maher, who has never supported this kind of reporting style, recently spoke against media bias, especially when it comes to Trump and the Republican Party. His comments were very strong and direct. So hit the subscribe button and let's get into it.
Reported this year that the U.S. was on track for nearly a 300% increase in measles cases. 300%? Wow, that sounds like it could be millions. It was 35. Because they just want to manipulate you into clicking. Look, I have 10 fingers. You want to see me suddenly have 80% less? Let's go, please. Okay. 5, never trust the initial reports. The media cares way more about being first than being right. They love a scoop, but it's a scoop of shit because it always turns out to be wrong.
If you have been watching the mainstream media for some time, especially since last year, you will likely understand what Bill Maher means. There is a clear pattern that looks less like honest reporting and more like over-exaggeration. News about Donald Trump or the Republican Party often gets boosted, dramatized, and released before all facts are confirmed. As soon as a negative headline appears about the president, it spreads very fast on TV and social media. Important details get lost, context is removed, and being first becomes more important than being correct. Maher says this constant rush for dramatic news hurts the media's trust and reputation. When people feel that news is exaggerated or one-sided, they stop trusting it. In trying too hard to criticize Trump, the media may actually damage its own credibility.
You have to care about the truth. The media doesn't care about it because they know you don't care, that you just want to hear your side. So at some point you need to take a step back, look around, and be really honest. Are you actually as fucked as your news feed tells you you are? Are you miserable? Some people are, and we should help them. Are you destitute? Some people are. We should help them. But most people who take the subway get to work alive. Most don't fall out of a plane with a missing door.
Maher gives an example of how media can turn small events into big stories. A few students protested at a college campus, which is a normal thing that happens often. But within a short time, some news outlets presented it as if a huge protest movement was happening across the whole country. Headlines made it look like universities everywhere were in chaos, even though it was just a small group. Maher says this kind of reporting is not always accidental. It helps build a strong story, even if the real situation is much smaller. This can mislead people and create unnecessary fear or confusion.
Trump could absolutely blow up the world on day 1 of term 2. He's a dangerous, erratic, insane, awful person, and I'd love to help him get not elected. But he didn't actually start World War III last time, or nuke a hurricane, or trade Puerto Rico for Greenland. Sure. Sure, the sequel is usually worse, but until he does, I'm going to live my life, and not the one the media wants me to live, hating half the country and shitting my pants 24/7. Is the sky really falling? I don't know. Maybe. And maybe it's just the door from a Boeing airplane.
In today's media world, calm and simple reporting does not get as much attention as emotional or shocking news. News companies know that anger, fear, and drama attract more viewers. Because of this, outrage has become a business strategy. The more emotional people feel, the more views and engagement the media gets. So news becomes louder, headlines become stronger, and every disagreement looks like a major crisis. Now the goal is not only to inform people, but to keep them watching. In this competition for attention, emotional news performs better than calm and balanced reporting.
Time for the media to admit that they blew the whole thing way out of proportion, because as always with media these days, they don't cover what's most important, just what's most fun to watch. There are 15.2 million college students in the U.S., and 2,300 have been arrested. That's 1/67th of 1%, and half of the ones in New York weren't even students. But we were given the false impression that these protesters are the voice of their generation, having found a cause for which they were willing to go to the tents and to the barricades. Oh, please, these kids are more violent when their team wins a championship.
Maher explains that using strong language is not always wrong. It becomes a problem only when it does not match the real facts. If a headline promises something big but the actual story is normal, then people lose trust in that media source. Dramatic wording should always match real events. If it doesn't, then journalism stops being real reporting and starts becoming entertainment.
A Harvard youth poll proved it. They asked people 18 to 29 what issues mattered most to them, and out of 16 choices, Palestine came in 15. The vast majority just wanted to do what they went to college for in the first place, to experiment with being a lesbian. But when these kids chant, the whole world is watching, they're right. But only because you assholes with the cameras won't show anything else. Isn't there a bear in a swimming pool somewhere you should be covering?
Many people already understand which media outlets Maher is referring to. Some critics say that certain news channels rely too much on social media posts instead of proper research. A few tweets are often shown as public opinion, and small online reactions are presented as big national trends. This creates an environment where people only hear what matches their existing beliefs instead of being challenged.
I thought as a public service, since it's so hard to find reliable news these days, tonight I would provide a few rules of thumb for trying to follow the news in our modern age. Starting with, if the headlines in your preferred news outlet routinely feature words like shreds, destroys, pummels, bashes, your outlet is a partisan piece of shit. Either that or you're reading a Batman comic. Ditto with obliterates, roasts, annihilates, and owns. You're supposed to be a source for information, not Nikki Glaser at the Tom Brady roast.
Maher also criticizes how many news outlets connect almost every topic to Donald Trump. Whether it is the economy, social issues, or global politics, everything is somehow linked back to him. Even though Trump is an important political figure, not every problem in the world is directly related to him. This constant focus makes complex issues look simple and one-sided. As a result, people stay stuck in a cycle of anger and debate instead of understanding real problems in depth.
2, any news source that quotes the internet or writes Twitter says or a bunch of hacks too lazy to do real journalism. You can pretend you wrote a piece on the zeitgeist, but what you really did was look on your phone and quote the 3 angriest people with the most time on their hands.
In the end, Maher's message is not about supporting Trump. It is about questioning how modern media works. When everything is exaggerated, people slowly stop trusting news. Sensational stories may bring more views, but they reduce credibility. Good journalism should focus on truth, facts, and full context instead of just drama. At the same time, viewers also have responsibility. They should think carefully, explore different opinions, and not depend only on headlines. A better media system needs both honest reporting and smart, aware viewers. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.